You want to sit next to Dad? Cool. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to Hannibal Leo Media. I'm Leo. I like to analyse media and do videos about it and stuff, because that's what I do. I'm a 28-year-old Scottish guy who's very, very fucking cringy. I am aware of that. I'm in cringy fandoms. So I'm just going to be my authentic self from now on. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I'm actually not sorry. But anyway, so this is the body count series where we count bodies, like the kill count. I've already explained, James A. Janice has already talked about this, like the whole thing's in his personality, blah 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 blah. So, this is Season 1, Episode 3 of Hazbin Hotel, Scrambled Eggs. Scrambled Eggs is the name of Episode 3, Season 1. You know, we've been over Egg Boys dying. No Egg Boys die in this episode. There are Egg Boy deaths later. Oh my god. Episode 8 is such a hard fucking count, honestly. But I have enjoyed doing this. Anyway, Episode 3 kicks off with Charlie and Vaggie with the help of Razzle and Dazzle. And they're putting up a banner to celebrate Sir Pinchas's first week at the hotel. Ah, we're so proud of the snake. Charlie is really happy about Pinchas being there, and like she thinks this is all going to work out. Like, redemption, yay! Pinchas has done so well. Like, we know he's done well. He done well with the little play that Charlie put on where Sir Pinchas was like, and I want to have sex before marriage. I almost went into a Russian accent there instead of an English one. But, you know, Vaggie still isn't too thrilled about having a guy who blew up the hotel wall and was, like, working for the V's and trying to spy on them. Like, he's staying there rent-free as well, so Vaggie's not too happy. But, you know, we've seen Vaggie throughout this season. When is she ever happy? Apart from when she's with Charlie, but Charlie is still remaining positive. That's just her whole thing. She's just positive. She's a Disney princess living in hell. Then Pinchas has to ruin the whole thing, and ruins Charlie's whole point that Pinchas has done so well lately that, you know, he's just like, I'm reversing all of that. Control Z that, because he's bringing like a little cannon on wheels. And I love how casual it all is, and the Egg Boys are just like, yay, boss. This weapon is called the Skin Flare 11,000.
My new invention, the Skin Flare 11,000.
Camera's trying to lock onto this when it shouldn't be. Okay, that's not a face. This is a face. This is a face. Pay attention to the face. The face, yes. So yeah, we have the Skin Flare 11,000, which is a very inventive name. I wonder what it does, Pinchas. Can you demonstrate? Who can we demonstrate on? Val. Let's demonstrate on Valentino. If you're a Val lover, I am not. I'm not a Val hater. I think he's very well written, and Viv and the team and the writers have done a really good job at humanising someone so awful, because it does show that even the worst people have these like soft human sides and things. We'll go over that in season 2. But yeah, let's test the Skin Flare 11,000 on Valentino. He wants to shoot the other residents because he is like, they're too nice to me, which makes them very suspicious, because Pinch isn't used to people being nice to him, I suppose. Maybe it's because you make things called the Skin Flare 11,000 and try to shoot people with them. We then get to see Clara and Odette, Carmine, the daughters of Carmilla Carmine, who we've talked about in the pilot. So we get Carmilla's daughters, they come in and they're making a delivery for the Carmine Industries, which is Carmilla's company. They deal with angelic steel weapons, probably dealing in angelic steel supplies for weapon building. She's the biggest arms dealer in the Pride Ring, probably in hell. I'm not sure how it all works, but yeah. So it's not a good look if they come into the Redemption Hotel with all these things for a sinner who's supposed to be on a redemption journey. Feel me? So Vaggie really isn't happy about it. Of course not, because she's like, no, we're not doing this. This is not what the hotel's about. So she puts a stop to it, because no one wants to kill Pinchas. Like she says to him, like, people are just being nice to you to make you feel welcome. That's the problem. No one likes Pinchas. Angel's jealous of Pinchas because Charlie's always praising him. Husk is suspicious of him. Nifty did like him because he was a bad boy, and then he apologised, so now Nifty doesn't like him because he's no longer a bad boy. And I think Alistair just doesn't give a shit about him. Charlie wants to do some trust building exercises that day because she thinks it's going to help everyone. And it will. It will. It would. Normally, if you weren't in hell, Charlie, it would probably help. Maybe. Ish. I don't know. I've seen trust exercises go wrong. So Charlie's going to organise some activities for trust building, and Baggy is like, cool. First of all, we're getting rid of the egg boys. You know, this is punishment. And the egg boys, like, walk away. They're not as upset as Pinches like, Pinches is, like, crying and everything and says they have to go away for a little while. And the egg boys are just like, okay, bye.
All right, Eggies. You've got to go. I can't keep you anymore.
Okay, boss.
No, don't resist. This is how it has to be.
And then at 2:52, we get our one and only body in this entire episode, which was, you know, a surprise considering the first episode is a lot, you know, it's revolving around these exterminations and things. But it is the lowest body count of this season, and it's just the deer that Alistair's eating for breakfast. And because it's a dead body that I can see and count, I'm counting it. So it's the only body there. And I didn't want to drop this whole episode because it wouldn't make sense. So I'm just going to analyse it and talk about it after this point. So we have one body. Obviously, Vaggie is disgusted by it. Vaggie wants Alistair to help get rid of the egg boys humanely, which Alistair agrees to, even though he's like, it's not really that fun when you tell me to do things humanely. I want to do things non-humanely. I want to be cruel. Because it's Alistair. So Charlie thinks the group could really benefit from doing some of these trust exercises. And even though Vaggie kind of fucks up the introduction of the trust exercises, it still goes ahead. Husk isn't very convinced though. Of course not, because he's a grumpy bartender who drinks most of the bar supplies. And Charlie tells Vaggie to take the lead on the trust exercises. But Vaggie isn't really confident in herself, and I have a theory as to why. But first, Vaggie acts like a drill sergeant to introduce what a trust exercise is and what they're going to do. So this is my theory. Since the episode only has one body, I'll share what I think. Vaggie, as we found out later in the season, is an exorcist, or used to be. She fell. Well, she didn't really fall. It wasn't her choice to fall. So, yeah, it's a hard one because I don't actually think Vaggie fell. I think she just thinks she fell. If that makes sense. I will go into it on the episode that we find out how everything happened, but we'll be covering all of that in that episode. But this is just my theory as to why she acts like this. And if you're upset that this was spoiled, go watch the show. Don't watch my kill counts first, please. Anyway, Vaggie being an exorcist, and, you know, there were no trust exercises. She does say later on, like, this is how I learned to trust, and we'll find out what it was. But Vaggie didn't learn to trust people with, like, falling and being caught, and, like, the way Charlie does things, and the way Charlie does everything is the complete opposite to what Vaggie knows. So when we get to season 2 and things, we see a little bit more of how the exorcists were treated and whatnot by Luke mainly, probably by Adam as well. I'm guessing we'll see more in season 3 about how the exorcists were treated. I would love to see it, but from the looks of things in season 2, it's not good. So in the way Vaggie acts now, it still tells me that the exorcists weren't really taught to have friends. They weren't taught to love or anything like that. Their main objective is to be soldiers of Heaven's army. Their main objective when it came to Adam and the exterminations was to kill sinners. That is it. So Vaggie is not used to anything but this rigid military structure, which is why her first reaction is probably to just threaten someone with a spear instead of talking it out like Charlie would recommend. Anyway, the group starts with trust falls, and the idea is that they share something personal, then fall. Everyone catches the person who falls. Only Vaggie catches Charlie, though, and maybe it's because she cried and said, I love you guys, and, you know. Angel Dust, of course, wants to be a comedian, and I'll let the joke speak for itself.
I love to suck
I swear to fuck if you say dicks.
popsicles, you sicko. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Then only Husk catches Angel, but Husk drops him for continuing said joke.
But you know, dicks too.
Pinches is next, and he can't live without his minions, so he tells everyone not to catch him, but Vaggie does. And apparently Pinchas is slimy, which I think is hilarious because, like, snakes are not slimy. I've owned a snake and I used to work around reptiles and snakes. They're not slimy at all. But like, I love the joke because it is just that myth that snakes are slimy. And technically, Pinchas's sin, it could be seen as slimy. I don't know. I don't hate Pinchas. I like Pinchas. I just don't like him with Cherry, who I have on my T-shirt, and we haven't met Cherry this season yet. I can't wait to talk about Cherry's episode. But yeah, Vaggie catches him, and then there's Nifty. Nifty is very enthusiastic about going next. Again, I will let this clip speak for itself. Amazon is probably coming at me with copyright anyway.
Sometimes I kill mother bugs in front of their children as a warning to others. Yay, pain!
Remember in the pilot that I mentioned funny faces? Like, if you've watched my episode covering the pilot, I talk about how much I love all the little background faces and stuff. Yeah, they do that here too, and Nifty keeps falling and everyone steps away. But Nifty just keeps going because she likes to pay, and every time she falls, she's like, yay, pain. So the trust falls aren't working the way Charlie hoped. And I'm going to move over to what I call the B plot for this episode. And that's Alistair heading to his errand he mentioned earlier when the Egg Boys were given to him. So the Egg Boys are following along and ask constant questions, which is hilarious. So then we meet another Overlord who everyone in Pentagram City, apart from Alistair, is afraid of. Zestial. He's old school, kind of speaks like Shakespearean time English, ye old English type. Even Prick the Overlord is scared of him, although I don't think it was like established there that Prick is an Overlord because he's not at the meeting that we'll be talking about in a minute. There's something we still don't have answered yet, and that is that Alistair was gone for, I think it's 7 years. I think Alistair's been gone the same amount of time that Lilith Morningstar has been missing. So where the fuck has he been? How, because sinners can't leave the Pride Ring, so it's not as if Alistair went, I'm going to Wrath, or I'm going to Lust. Not that Alistair would go to Lust, I don't think. I don't see him hanging around like Succubi and Incubi and going to Aussies, because you need to have you need to be on a date to go to Aussies. But on top of that, I just don't see him hanging around there. It's not like he's in greed or envy. So, or Sloth. Almost forgot Sloth. But yeah, Vivian herself has said that sinners cannot leave the Pride Ring. There's like a magic... She says she imagines it like a magical barrier.
We know sinners can't leave the Pride Ring. So my question is, what if a sinner in the Pride Ring tried?
I just feel like there's a barrier. Like, you just can't go. Like, it physically stops you, you know? So
like
it
a magical
cannot.
shield?
Magic.
Thank you.
Magic.
So, where else could he have gone? Where was he? Was he in a pocket dimension or something? Zestial even says he heard Alistair fell into Holy Arms. I hope we get answers in Season 3 because the suspense is killing me. But I also love the suspense. I love how long this is going out for. This is like... I like the suspense, but at the same time I hate the suspense, if that makes sense. So, Alistair and Zestial head up in the elevator and Alistair tells the Egg Boys to stay where they are. But Frank, the Egg Boy, is going up there anyway.
We have names?
We see more Overlords, so we get Rosie, Maestro, Zizi, and finally Carmilla Carmine herself, who is running this meeting. So, an Overlord is created by the amount of souls one of them, one owns. I think owning one soul would be like a stepping stone, like you can have a soul deal with someone, and that's it. But the more souls you accumulate, the higher up in the Overlord chain you get. So maybe Prick and Hatchet are like low tier Overlords, but they were mentioned in Season 2 anyway. Carmilla points out that amongst the ones that are there, they have millions of souls between them, which is a lot of souls to own. Like, I don't know how many sinner souls are in Hell. I'm guessing Hellborn can't sell their soul, but as we'll find out later, some Hellborn can under certain circumstances. Carmilla greets Zestial personally, and it just makes me love this ship even more. Like, I just love Carmilla and Zestial. I can't remember their ship name right now, but I think it's like one of the sweetest ships in the fandom. I really need to make a video about all the ships that I love, and the ones that I hate, and watch all the hate come at me. But yeah, I love it. And I need, like, Carmilla, I need that ship to sail. I just need them to, like, I think it's because it's like an old school kind of love, like, and he's just, I just love it. So Carmilla is shocked to see Alistair there, and Alistair seems to be like, I guess you were all wondering where I was, and Carmilla's like, no, not really, just kind of like, wow, you're here. So Alistair's not really happy about that one. But we do find out that 16% of the sinner population was lost in this extermination, and the reason I'm not counting that is because I don't know what the number of sinners were before the extermination, so I can't count what that 16% loss would be in numbers. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm guessing there's 7 billion souls before the extermination, and then there's like so many, so this was how many souls were killed. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not competent enough to say how many were there pre-extermination and then to be like, this is how many were killed. So Velvet interrupts the meeting after we find out that 16% of the sinner population were exterminated, and she's on the phone to Vox. Vox obviously doesn't think she can handle this meeting, but Velvet assures him that he can handle. Velvet assures him that she can absolutely handle a Born Overlord meeting on her own. Still insulting everyone. Everyone's just staring at her at this point, and I think it's hilarious. So Carmilla tries to get on with the meeting. So Velvet once again interrupts the meeting by tossing that dead exorcist head on the table from the very first episode. I'm not counting it because we've already counted it. I love how the mask, like the face, the eyes and the mouth for the exorcist mask has gone all red instead of white. It's like a really cool visual. Also, I want to know, has Velvet been carrying around this like fucking exorcist head for like, what, 2 weeks at this point ish? Yeah, 2 weeks, because episode 1 is a week after the extermination, and then this episode is like Pentius's first week at the hotel, so 2 weeks. When did Velvet even find the head? Did she find it like the day after the extermination or whatever? Like, what has she been doing? There's someone actually made like a parody comic, and I'll need to try and find it and credit the artist, obviously, because we credit artists on this channel. Carmilla isn't even shocked or impressed, for that matter, that there's an exorcist head on her table, getting blood everywhere. Velvet thinks this means that they can now fight against exorcists in heaven, and Velvet even says this:
If these holy rollers can be killed, the game has changed. We can take the fight to them. The boys and I have come up with a full assault plan.
So Zestial obviously thinks it's foolish because, I mean, he's old, he's ancient. He's like, no, that's not happening. So Zestial thinks the exorcist just died by accident. Obviously, we'll find out soon what really killed that one. I know I say it every episode of this, but Respectless is such a good song. Like, I fucking love Respectless. And it's one of the best of this season, I think. Like, personally, I don't know if people don't like it. I love it. Velvet and Carmilla sparring through a song is like fucking beautiful, and Velvet's verses are just amazing. And I need more Velvet songs. Velvet then accuses Carmilla of being a hypocrite because Carmilla makes weapons that sinners are using right now to fight and kill each other, including angelic weapons, as we know. And Velvet also says, like, I think you know why there's an angel head, because your face went red. Sorry, your wrinkled face was turning red. I'm not going to insult the Queen Carmilla like that, though. But Velvet does. And I mean, like, the absolute disrespect the V's have for other overlords. And it's like, compared to, like, Carmilla and Zestial, I want to say Alistair, but, like, Alistair's been gone for 7 years. So, like, Carmilla and Zestial are probably a lot older and a lot more refined in their overlord-isms. Yeah, we'll go with that one. So, like, the disrespect they have for other overlords is pretty ballsy, I'll give them that. Carmilla decides, nope, we're cutting the meeting short. And I love Velvet's exit.
Safe travels back to the nursing home, fuckers.
I love the attitude of Velvet. Frank the Egg Boy is told by Alistair to go follow Carmilla and Zestial when they go to a room to go talk alone. And then we cut to a scene that I cannot show on YouTube. This is probably one of the, like... This is, like... Some, like, I'm always going to be like, oh, I don't want to censor myself and things. Like, I won't hold back. I won't use YouTube and TikTok language and whatever. So if I ever get monetized on this channel, I'm going to have to rely on things like sponsors and whatever. And that's fine. I understand that. But I'm not, like, I'm not going to show the BDSM club, okay? Because I know that's definitely going to get my fucking channel taken down. So Angel takes them to a BDSM club for the trust exercise because it does require trust and communication, and that's true. That's just a fact. Don't listen to 50 Shades. But also, come on, Angel, come on. You're taking Charlie to a kinky club, and you're expecting her to just be like, yay. I mean, she is kind of like, okay, like, we're here, this is weird. Vaggie asks who the fuck would be into this. Like, I didn't think Vaggie, of all people, would be vanilla. I didn't think ex-exorcists would be vanilla, but apparently they are. And if anyone's seen the animatic, what is it, Red Flag or something like that, and it's Luke and Adam on a date, and it's just, I need to link it because it's one of the best fucking animatics I've ever seen for Luke and Adam, and I don't even ship Guitar Sword or Guitar Spear. But yeah, of course the ex-Angel Soldier, I suppose, is vanilla. I don't know, I'm also shocked that she's vanilla, but at the same time, I'm like, well, yeah, it kind of adds up. Husk is enjoying his back scratches that he's getting, and Nifty is ready to punish some bad boys. My life is talking about one-eyed miniature Cyclops maids dressed as dominatrixes. Great. And I do feel awful for Charlie, who is like standing awkwardly. She doesn't know what to do. So Charlie's just standing awkwardly. You know, she's trying to be the supportive friend to be like, yeah. And then some sinners try to come onto her, and thankfully Vaggie comes to the rescue. But she's still grossed out, and Vaggie's trying to take back control of this trust exercise and trust building in general by teaching them the way she was taught. And if we think about Vaggie's history and her background, how was she taught to trust her fellow brethren? Is that a male term? I am googling this. Okay, brethren is male. Okay, well, how did right. So how did Vaggie learn to build trust with exorcists? Although I don't know if you can call what the exorcists have trust, considering they like to rip each other's wings off and, you know, take the eyes. I know it's only Luke that done it, but, you know, is that the mentality of them all? Probably. So, Vaggie learned how to trust people by fighting. So they go to this like area in the Pride Ring that's just like for brawling and fighting and prick and hatchet that I mentioned a little while ago. They're there. This is like, I think this is their territory, because I think all they do is kind of fight with each other. So Vaggie tosses Pinchus into the pit, and then Angel. Husk manages to slip away. Vaggie is like, toss me next. Ha ha ha. Let me go punish some bad boys. And Vaggie and Charlie are having this back and forth while Nifty's trying to climb over the wall to get to the fighting pit. Vaggie is upset because she took charge and it didn't really work out. But I also think this is Vaggie becoming, or being self-aware, that she isn't a sinner or hellborn, and it's becoming more and more obvious as the time goes on, if we think about it. To me, at least, who's watched this show and this season like so many times, I think, and also on top of it, analysing the episodes and things, I think it's becoming more obvious, and I have a new perspective on the characters and how they behave and why they behave a certain way. So I think, like, the more I watch Vaggie and I've analysed things with Vaggie, the more I'm seeing, like, she's trying to fit in, because she feels like she belongs in hell with Charlie, but obviously her exorcist nature and the way she was made and brought up to kind of, or trained to be, is all clashing. But I really do have a new perspective on the characters. So Vaggie is obsessed with helping Charlie make the hotel successful and protecting Charlie, but Vaggie was also technically, well, not even technically, like, exorcists were made for violence. If you really look into it and think about it, I think exorcists were made instead of, like, born. I don't think they were winners who turned into exorcists. I think with how they all look the same and how they act and whatever, they're all made to be, they're all just made, they're heaven born type things. So Vaggie was made for violence because she's trying to reinvent how she views things, and that's obviously hard. She's scared of failure because she has failed before, and look at what happened. She hesitated on killing a sinner. Luke and Adam were like, fuck you. And now she's here. She even says it herself, if she can't help Charlie, what's the point of her as Vaggie? And that's what I want explored more in future seasons, and I know everyone else does, but I don't see Vaggie as just Charlie's girlfriend. I see her as quite a complex character who's trying to relearn from a system that she came from and kind of only knew about. I know she's been in hell for 3 years at this point, but I mean, it's only been a little while since the hotel started really running and whatnot. And it's as if Vaggie hasn't realised yet that she's her own person who can be a partner to Charlie, help out with the hotel, and not feel pressured to be a perfect soldier. So then Angel comes up the stairs to the rooftop carrying a very upset Penchus, and Charlie tells him it's time to go home. And Angel's not happy because he just climbed up those stairs only to be told to go back down them. I have been there multiple times, Angel. But he drags Penchus back to the hotel. Back to Carmilla and Zestial points out that Carmilla never loses her cool like that, like it's not her. And Zestial knows that Angel's death was because of Carmilla. He's kind of guessed it already. I mean, he knows Carmilla at this point, and she shuts it down, even though her daughters are like, you should probably tell him and be honest. And then we get the song, Whatever It Takes. Not gonna lie, not one of my favourites for once. I like it, but I have to be in the mood to listen to it. I usually skip it unless I want to listen to the full season 1 album soundtrack. And I just think it is because it's kind of a sad song, even though I love Carmilla and Vaggie singing about how they want to protect their loved ones, and no matter how hard it is in hell, they want to be the armor and whatnot. So then we go back to the Egg Boys who are playing in the dumpster. And one of them finds a gun, which I hadn't noticed until now. And then Frank comes back down the elevator, so of course Alistair's like, what did you hear? So Frank explains in his own unique Egg Boy way, his own Frank way.
First, the old guy was all, you're not yourself. You're the one that killed the angel. And then she was all, whatever it takes.
That Carmilla killed the exorcist, so Alistair's like, haha, this is valuable information. Don't tell anyone that you heard this valuable information. Meanwhile, we go back to the hotel. Vaggie and Charlie are talking over how they're going to work together, and Vaggie's trust exercise actually did work because everyone is laughing and joking around now in the lobby. It's nice, and Angel and Penchus kind of like each other now. And then Alistair and the Egg Boys return, so Vaggie decides that Penchus should get his eggs back. Let's give Penchus his eggs. And then we end the episode with Penchus and the Egg Boys getting ready for bed, and Frank tells Penchus how awesome his day with Alistair has been, including that Carmilla Carmine, or as Frank calls her, the knife lady, killed an exorcist, but Penchus doesn't believe him and just decides they're going to go to sleep now. So that was episode 3 of season 1, Scrambled Eggs. Told you, no Egg Boys died this episode. That comes way later. Another 5 episodes. Anyway, episode 4 is called Masquerade, and it's probably the saddest episode of the season, or one of them. So, like and subscribe if you want to see more. Stick around. Let me know if I've missed anything in the comments. Let me know how you feel about these episodes and things. How you feel about the direction Hazbin's going in. I'm trying to get myself on their Instagrams, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you next video. Bye. And then some. Of fucking course. Of course. Cool. Okay, I guess we're going with shitty lighting now. Fucking hell, man. Hi, Fizzy. Hi. Are you coming to say hello? Oh, hello, Papa. Hello, puppy. Hello. Hello. I'm going to help Dad count bodies, yes. Come to harass. Okay. Okay, buddy. You've just had your nighttime treats. Hello, baby. Hello. You want to say hi? Hello. You want to say hello? My boy. Don't bite me. No.